Hello everyone, our lesson today is on adjectives and this is part 7. The question is, what parts of speech are the words which end in ing? So if you look at a word and this word has an ing, what part of speech is this word? Is it a verb? Is it a noun? Is it an adjective? Let's look at the examples. So this is the answer. If you see an ing at the end of a word, this means the word may be a gerund, an adjective, or a present participle, which is like an adjective, or the word may be added to another word to form the continuous tense. So we have 4 stories then. If you see an ing at the end of a word, it doesn't mean it's continuous. If you see an ing at the end of a word, it doesn't mean this word is continuous. No. Maybe the word is a gerund. Maybe the word is an adjective. Maybe the word is present participle, or maybe it is continuous. Let's look at examples. So here, as you can see, this reading has got an ing. So if I put for you here, let me just do this for you here. So this one has got an ing, and this has got an ing, and this one has got an ing, and this one has got an ing, as you can see. So what's the difference then? What is the difference? So reading is useful. This sentence, reading here is a gerund. Reading has got an ing. Of course, we have 4 sentences here, and in the 4 sentences we have got words which have got ing. Reading has got an ing, interesting has got an ing, interesting has got an ing, interesting has got an ing. So what's the difference? Reading is gerund. Gerund is a noun. Gerund is a noun. So if you put ing to read, you make it a noun. And this noun, we call it a gerund. A gerund is a verbal noun. How do you know it's a gerund? If you change it into a verb, then it is gerund. I can say reading is useful, or I can say to read is useful. To read is useful, reading is useful. So I can change reading into to read is useful. So reading is a gerund. Why? Number 1, it has an ing, and number 2, I can change it into to read. So reading is a gerund, and a gerund is a verbal noun. Originally it was a verb, and then I make it a noun. Next sentence, table tennis is interesting. Interesting is an adjective. It's not a noun. So here I can put here a gerund. What is a gerund? I said a verbal noun. So reading has got an ing. Reading is a gerund, and a gerund is a verbal noun. What is interesting? It's an adjective. Interesting is an adjective, which means nice. Table tennis is interesting. Table tennis is nice. Interesting is present participle. Interesting is present participle. Interesting has got an ing. Interesting is present participle. Present participle has got an ing, and interesting is an adjective for people, because the present participle is like an adjective and we use it before the noun. So in this sentence I can say present participle. Table tennis is interesting us. Here it's a verb. It is a verb. Interesting is a verb. Is interesting together. I'll make it, put it in green for you. You can see now. So is interesting together. This is the verb. And in this sentence we have continuous, and we call it present continuous. So is interesting is the present continuous tense, because present continuous has two verbs. So is interesting is a verb. So we have 4 sentences here, and in each sentence we have ing. Reading has got an ing, interesting has got an ing, next one interesting has got an ing, and this has got an ing. But reading here is a gerund, interesting is an adjective, this interesting is present participle, which is like an adjective, I said, which is like an adjective. And here is interesting is the verb, which we use to make present continuous. So if you see something with an ing, if you see a word with an ing, ask yourself, is it gerund? Is it an adjective? Is it present participle, which is an adjective? Or is it a verb? So if I look at this one here, reading is useful, the table tennis is interesting, reading is a gerund here, interesting here means nice, it's an adjective, and this is interesting, of course, here again. Why an adjective, present participle, which is an adjective, is interesting, is present continuous. Of course, why I put these 2 times, because here everything is, you know, in colors. If I put now like this, if I put all this in black, for example, and no underline, and you read it like this, it's difficult for you now. It's difficult for you to understand these sentences. But if I make like this, so you can see now, reading has got an ing, interesting has got an ing, interesting has got an ing, and interesting has got an ing. And this is the explanation. Reading is useful. Reading is a gerund because I can change it into a verb. To read is useful. I can say to read is useful. This is correct English. It's a good sentence. A gerund is a verbal noun, which means originally it was a verb, and then we added an ing to it to make it a noun. So reading is useful. Reading is a gerund because I can change it into a verb. I can say to read is useful. A gerund is a verbal noun, which means originally it was a verb, and then we added an ing to it to make it a noun. Table tennis is interesting. Interesting is an adjective which describes table tennis. There is no object after interesting. Of course, this is, I am writing what I explained to you in the video. Interesting people make our life happy. Interesting is a present participle before a noun, and the present participle is like an adjective which describes people. Table tennis is interesting people. Interesting and is are verbs. Interesting and is are verbs, and they are used together to make the present continuous tense. And we have an object after is interesting. So after is interesting, we have an object. So that's why it's very important when you read something and it has colors, and you have to see, is this word on its own or is this word part of another word? That's why using colors is very, very important and useful. So if you say we have a continuous tense in a sentence, you should always see at least 2 verbs in this sentence. At least 2 verbs in a sentence. Anytime you say continuous, of course we have many tenses which are continuous. So Like for example, present, we've got present continuous and present perfect continuous. So we have got two tenses, two present tenses which are continuous, two past tenses which are continuous, and two future tenses which are continuous. So we have 6 continuous tenses in English. Every time you say to yourself, this is continuous, you must see at least 2 verbs. At least 2 verbs. So if you come here, is interesting is present continuous, we have 2 verbs. Interesting here is not continuous, it is one word, and this is an adjective. Interesting here is not continuous, it is an adjective. And again, reading is not continuous, it is a noun. So when you see something which has got an ing, ask yourself, what is it? Is it a noun? Is it an adjective? Is it present participle? Or is it continuous? Please watch this video again. I know it is difficult, I know. Watch it again and again and again, and I hope you learn from it and you do more practice. Now, if you go to google.com, you type www.google.com and you ask Google to give you exercises on adjectives, or maybe exercises on the gerund, or exercises on the present participle, or exercises on the present continuous. In this way, you can learn and you can improve your English. So click on subscribe, please, if you like this video and you want to watch more videos in future. Thank you for listening.